Hi, it's Elisa, and I decided to record a video, and it's been a long time. So, I just bought a new camera, and it's pretty shit in the sense that it's not really that good, and I I just struggle to position it in any sort of coherent way. It just, that's the best I can do at the moment. Um, and I think it's good enough, to be honest with you. So, yeah, God, where to start? Um, I don't, I wanted to talk about a few things. Um, my life in general, at the moment, is just, I'm struggling with certain things. It's work related, it's just around stress and tiredness and sleeplessness and this kind of thing, and that's not helping overall in my life. Um, but I'm okay in many other ways, in terms of um, um, my love life. I'm not in a relationship, but I've been seeing a guy for a while, for a few months, and it was a really nice experience. And we had sort of real feelings, and he's a lovely person, and very young though, very, very young, a lot younger than me. So um, that's now ended, which was sad, but was kind of like my decision, as I felt like I want something more committed. We would get to see each other at the weekend, and that's lovely. But I wanted more, and I asked for more. He can't really do that at the moment because of all the stuff he's going on, what he's doing in his life, and also I think he's not even ready for that. He's not even it's 21. Is at an age where um, but he he was very respectful of me and committed to see me at the weekend. It's just that after a while, I feel like I want a partner now. Um, so so it's all good in that sense. There was no um, sort of mistreatment or no, how should I say, um, painful breakup or anything like that. I mean, it's painful in itself, but we didn't kind of mistreat each other. Um, and for a few months of my life, it was a very nice time. So now I'm single again. I'm not sort of rushing into anything. I'm not even looking for anything, to be honest with you. I'm just leaving it up to my um, higher power um, to, just lead me wherever it is that I need to go. I don't want to talk about work too much because this is like a social media, so I don't really, you know, want to expand too much on my work. Um, but there's, it's a part of my life that is giving me some struggle. Um, Also, big news. I have booked for September, and it's now, what is it, May? My forehead surgery, which I've been talking about forever. I made a video about it not long ago. I talked about it years ago. I'm doing it. Um, it's scary. I'm not taking it lightly. I have done a lot of research. I have seen several doctors. Um, and I've found some that actually operate in Spain, that I feel like I would like to have this experience with. They do like, really sort of natural work, and very subtle. Very subtle. The operation is a complicated operation, but the result that they give are very subtle, sort of. And even looking at my face here right now, I think I don't need to do anything, which is true. But I do have, a significant brow brushing, that you can't see. But I've been thinking, oh, maybe I can show you, but actually I don't feel comfortable with that. So yeah, but I shouldn't look any different. It's not like, in terms of, I'm just probably not gonna have fringe, and it probably is gonna sit different in my profile, but it should pretty much be the same from the front. But I have lots of fears around it. I'm afraid is, um, about scarring, about, it's the scar is here, therefore, I'm afraid of like, what if I lose some hair, and I'm afraid about scarring. I'm just afraid about the result as well. What if I do believe that we are all, perfectly imperfect, and um, I don't really, there's part of me that I feel like should I really mess with what God created? And I'm not saying in a Catholic way, but I do have, I do believe in a higher power. Um, but then again, it's like everything. Well, I am the way I am now because I have changed my um, physical expression, through hormone therapy, through breast augmentation, growing my hair, removing my facial hair. So um, that's, for me, is another step basically, and it's a very significant step. As I said, I don't take it lightly. If anything, for me, I would like to live it as a spiritual experience almost, not almost, but really as that. I don't, I just, it's a step in transition, and as I said, significant because it's to do with what we almost look at the most about a person, their face. Um, and um, as much as I have fear, I also know it could be um, something really, really um, sort of so enriching, just for the fact of doing something for yourself, facing, like, okay, I'm scared, okay, but I'm not gonna let myself down because I'm afraid, I'm not gonna not do it because I'm afraid. Um, it's almost like transitioning in itself. It's very scary, it's extremely scary to go out as a woman when you are actually a man, in the sense that your body is male, your proportions might be male, I don't know, many different things. In my particular case, like my height, I'm very tall, therefore, I was very scared of that. Um, and just present yourself as a woman. More than anything, what is scary is that actually when you step out as a woman, because I remember that for quite a while I was like in a sort of androgynous phase where I looked quite androgynous. I would wear clothes that I knew were female, but they were actually androgynous looking, like a pair of jeans and a vest and a t-shirt, and it was all ladies wear, but from the outside it just looks like something in, a bit in between. And also, like, my appearance for a while was a bit in between. I was growing my hair, I was kind of like wearing a little bit of makeup, so that kind of androgynous. But then there was a day that and obviously in that phase I was also going out completely dressed as a woman, with a wig and fake breasts, but only to certain venues, you know. I think like a lot of people experience it in transition. And then, but I remember the day that I actually really, specifically, I remember the day that I went to work, dressed. And for dressed, I mean, I had a wig, fake breasts, full makeup, and just stepping out, taking the train, you know. Um, God, sometimes I just don't know how I got the courage to do that. Um, I remember I used to go to, every morning I used to go to a tube station that was quite far from my house, like, 20, 25 minutes walk. But it would allow me to take a train line that was a lot more, shall I say, kind of upper class. Like, it's a train line that just goes through the city. Whereas, the other train line, who lives in London will know this, like the central line that is near my house, is a little bit more like, rough at times. You get people coming from outside London, etc., etc. And I just remember, it made me feel, it was safer for me to catch the other line where there are like people more like suited people, city as in, city worker, things like that, because it was safer. Sorry, I'm just really annoyed. There you go. No, yes, okay. um, See, anyway, my obsession with the fringe, forehead. There you go. So, yeah, and just because, I was in fear for myself, for, anybody, I could be a target for abuse, verbal abuse, you know, um, sometimes, I was scared. I never had physical abuse, but, that was my fear as well. Um, it was all pretty okay, to be honest with you. But still, it takes a lot of courage. And every step of the way, I didn't know where I was going to get the courage to do that. When I mean every step of the way, I mean, you know, actually stepping out as a woman, even before going to war, the actual stepping out of the flat completely as a woman. Um, I remember wondering, how am I going to do this? I knew I wanted to, but it seemed like the impossible. Um, and another step was going to work as a woman. They knew about my transition in the sense that at that point, my androgyny was so clear that everybody was kind of like, okay. But nevertheless, at that point was wondering, how am I gonna get people to call me with a different name, regardless whether, yeah, it's a female name, of course, but it's also a different name, people that know me. I transitioned at work. And as I said, as much as before transition, I was kind of like in androgynous and wearing makeup, and all of that. So, as I said, it wasn't like all of a sudden this happened. But still, that's androgynous is different from, presenting as female, changing legally, and hormones, I didn't know how I was going to start hormones. I had all sorts of fears around that, It's not, um, how are you sure? How are you sure of something that you don't know? Like, how can, for as much as you know you're a woman, and you have come to this realization about yourself that, not only you're not a man, um, which you knew all your life. That's what, I knew all my life that I was not a boy. I didn't know how to sort of verbalize it. I didn't know. I didn't know. Like, if I'm not, I don't know what I am. But I knew, that was my core thing. I knew I was not a boy. Um, but the actual saying I am a woman, that's the step, you know. And every step of the way, I swear, I had no clue. There was no map in that sense. I didn't, I never would like, I never thought, oh, at this point I'm gonna do this and then I'm gonna do that, because every time, every step I was like, I have no idea how that is gonna come about. Because right now I don't feel like I would have the courage to do that. Or the clarity, my doubts. And I suppose that I love the fact that I'm telling you this, because it makes me see how it's exactly the same for this surgery. I don't know how I'm gonna show up and, have this surgery done, which is quite invasive. I don't know how. Um, it's a bit like sexual assignment surgery. Yeah, lots of people do it. Even this forehead surgery, lots of people do it. It's not like something that, experimental or anything like that. But still, the actual doing it is different. And I feel like that right now. I don't know how. Or where do I get the courage to do it? Um, but I can just, I could, all I can do is just trust my, what I've come to see as my higher power, my soul as well, and my, um, just let go, because it feels exactly like that. It feels like all these other steps I felt in my transition. Breast augmentation was different. I was a little bit more relaxed about that, because it was kind of like, um, well, it's, at that point I had breasts already, it was just a matter of having it bigger. So it wasn't, like, I had not as much fear as I had, for instance, about taking estrogen, or when I wasn't taking it, or, as I said, even not physical thing, but sort of stepping out as a woman, Um, so, but this one feels exactly like that, this step. Um, So yeah, I suppose that's a big thing in my life, and I don't want to downplay or you know um, or disregard the emotions that I might have around it. I think I'm looking at myself all the time, but it would be better if I looked at the camera, because then it would be like looking at you instead of looking at myself. Um, so um, yeah, so I was saying the I prefer to look at myself, to be honest with you, because I feel like I'm talking to somebody rather than like I'm talking to a camera, which is weird. Um, so, yeah, that's September. And also, something I wanted to touch upon, which is kind of superficial, but I don't want to just go on and on about deep things. Um, some people might think that FFS is not deep, but um, the yeah, I can't like every time I try to get in contact with like some transgender people on YouTube, it's not like I get a really warm response. Um, like I recently, sent a message to somebody in the States that like has done this like Google Hangout with a few transsexual women on it, pre-op, post-op, whatever, and every time they explore a different topic, but she didn't even reply to me. And I mean, I understand. I don't think, even as much as I would like to join the discussion, I don't know them, and but also the different time zone. I work really strange and bad hours and shifts, so uh, I'm never like, I never have like sort of like a set, you know, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. So it's very difficult for me to arrange things. And um, what was I saying? Yeah, but yeah, and there's part of me that, the insecure parts always think that they don't think I'm good enough, or, um, something like that. But I don't think that's the case. Um, I think they just don't know, they don't know me. Um, so yeah, but recently I have been watching a little bit more of, I used to do it a lot, and then I kind of, I used to watch a lot of videos about transition and transgender people, and and then I stopped in the past 2 years just because I um, I kind of have, I have explored other things in my life like spirituality, and this has become a big part of my life, and I love that. I don't think of myself as a category of people when I explore spirituality, and I read about it or I watch talks about it. I don't, it's not about being in a category like transgender, gay, straight, whatever. It's about being a soul, and a human being, having a soul, having a human experience, and therefore, dealing with what it means to be alive, to be, in here, to be in touch with your emotions and feelings, and responsible for um, your your actions and your feelings, and what does it mean to love yourself, what does it mean to take care of yourself, and um, to also, um, in order also to love others, um, but primarily to find out who you really are, and that's beyond gender, to be quite honest with you. Um, Because when it comes to needs, I'm talking about support, love, affection, closeness, um, um, spiritual, connection. emotional connection. So all of these words have no gender, and they can apply to anybody, regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity. And that's what I've been looking into. So, and I like that. I don't, so now I look back to certain videos of transgender people and I'm like, I can see that they are so caught up into this thing, and and that's tricky because that kind of puts you aside, it just sets you apart from everybody else, and just puts you in a group of people, whereas we have a lot in common with everybody else. Um, but I do also have come to really appreciate transgender activism, like Janet Mock, for instance, Laverne Cox. I just really love, particularly Janet Mock, what she's doing. I don't know whether um, whoever is watching this video, you know her. She is the author of Redefining Realness, which I haven't read yet, and I plug in it, but I really like, what she's saying in terms of, her experience as a transgender woman, and God, it's really about time. It's really about time that somebody like that actually comes out and represent the transgender community. Not that she can represent the community, but she's a member of the community and she has something to say and she knows how to say it. And yes, she is very sort of how do I say, mainstream friendly because she passes as a woman 100%. She passes as an attractive woman, which is very important for females, for women in our society. It's extremely important to be attractive, so she conforms. I've got that fringe thing going on again. She conforms to that kind of, a stereotype, whatever you want to call it. But that's great. That's great because we need visibility. That's what we need, and we need honesty, and we need people that have the balls to be themselves, so to speak, and not hide behind their possibility. And that's what she's doing. So regardless, she's brave, and I would love to also being able to find a platform similar to the one that she has found, to talk to people, and I am writing something, so who knows? Watch this space. No, but I think, I'm kind of joking, but I think what she is doing is just so heartwarming for me. Just to see that things are really changing because of, the simple fact that people like her and Laverne Cox can be out there, writing books, playing characters in TV series or whatever it is that they're doing, So and actually, becoming part of the mainstream. If you think of how things were, just even like 15 years ago, I don't know if that would have been possible. But anyway, so I'm talking a lot about a lot of things. I just really wanted to give you an overall update on my life, and I went on about between surgery and Janet Mark and my love life, and I don't know what title I'm going to put to this video, but I am going to upload it as it is, and I'm just going to you know, leave it like that. So anyway, it was lovely to record this video. It really helped me in many different ways, and I want to be back soon because I want to make more videos and be part of the YouTube community a bit more. Alright, bye bye.